Hello, this is Bill Clodsey. Welcome to a vintage cube draft here on Magic Online. This is an 8-player pod, so most like live cube where you sit down and actually play with 7 other people, sharing one set of cards, so singleton format. Anything you pick you won't have to play against. And this is a powered cube, so we have the Power 9. We are lucky enough to open one of them in pack 1, which is Mox Pearl. That is definitely the pick. I mean, this just accelerates you into the busted things that you can do in this format. You want to try to either control or win as quickly as possible, and it's just a lot of fun. Yeah, I really do like Cube, especially Powered Cube, because it teaches you a lot about interactions in Magic you don't otherwise see, and you get to see a lot of these powerful cards from Magic's history that you don't otherwise get to see. Maybe it gives you some ideas of, casual deck ideas or even competitive deck ideas, but whatever it is a pretty interesting format. That'll be my first pick there. I didn't highlight too much there, but I do like Counter Magic. In this pack, Mishra's Workshop is definitely appealing. It doesn't really help with Mox Pearl. It is an artifact, so it can help some synergies with Mishra Workshop's decks, which care about having lots of artifacts. Of course, this one doesn't cost anything. And this is 3 mana you get from a land, but can only be used to cast artifacts. Another accelerant here is Raphelos. Fire Blast is really good in mono red, and Crucible is good in some combos. Hellrider also good in mono red. I'd probably take Fire Blast over it, but that's just because this is a free 4 damage spell at the end of the game. Treachery's good, but not as good in Powered Cube, where it's not as creature based as something like Legacy Cube or other cubes. Cool. Force of Will, definitely one to keep your eye on, because people are doing things so quickly and you're either stopping them from their combo or protecting your own combo for 0 mana. The number of cards in your hand isn't as important when you only need 2 to win the game, or you're drawing lots of cards. Now, we don't have anything that works with our first 2 picks here that I can see, which is not a good sign, but only 2 cards are missing, so who knows. We did get past the Workshop, so that's a pretty good sign. Maybe we take Force of Will. Even in the artifact decks, you're going to be playing colors. Gideon of the Trials, no thank you. Yeah, I don't want these mid-rangey cards, and I'll take what I think's pretty powerful. Taiga's another thing you could take there, but I'm just gonna go for Force of Will. Okay, Golgari Signet, all of the Signets are good. I mean, they're just worse than the Power 9, of course, but they are good off of a turn 1 Mishra's Workshop or something. You can't use the mana from this to activate and tap for the Signet, but you're going to have other lands in your deck. What I really like here is Lodestone Golem. We have a turn 1 Lodestone Golem. This is why these accelerants are so important. Turn 1 Lodestone Golem with Force of Will backup, a 5-card hand, if we do get any more blue cards. Swords are also really nice with Mishra's Workshop. Getting a sword down for 1 land is so powerful. But anyway, this is the kind of card that could wheel, but I really want to get carve out my place in this artifact deck as soon as possible. Daze is another good one. If we go heavier blue, heavy blue artifact deck, we can look for white cards. They're a little easier to cast in our deck with this Mox Pearl, but even as a colorless source, the Mox Pearl is pretty much what you want. I do like Kuldotha Forgemaster. It's kind of like a Tinker that's hard to activate, but it's not that hard to activate. You're going to have Mox Pearls and whatever in a deck like this if it's more or less open. This is the kind of card that wheels, and if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Tough one. Field of Ruin is pretty good. This is a newer printing that has made waves in older formats. I'm going to take Daze here. That's the kind of card you want with Force of Will. Okay, new set stuff. Nicol Bolas Dragon God. Hard to cast, especially for us, although some artifacts do help add all the kinds of mana you might want. It is a blue card for what it's worth, Force of Will. Yeah, the +1 is pretty much just draw card. It's easy for opponents, unless you're like a real stacks deck, to exile a permanent of their own. Just get rid of their extra land. I am not sure about this pack. There's really nothing that I want that much. You know what? I'll take Nicol Bolas. Maybe the land there was a consideration, but oh, I hope someone else is not in our deck. We could end up in some weird Grixis thing. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. This is just too mid-rangey and slow for me to be really interested in it, but who knows. Fire and Ice. This is a nice one. The 2 mana tap target permanent. Imagine taking your opponent's upkeep and denying their Mishra's Workshop or whatever. And then you get to draw a card for all that. Pretty good. Tithe Taker, Wrath of God. Wrath effects, while powerful... Oh wow, we have Damnation and Wrath of God in the same pack. While powerful, or maybe not that good in Vintage Cube, again, because not everyone is doing creatures. But Ice is a blue card, at least, for the stuff we have here. Young Pyromancer. We might turn into a deck like that, like a stacks deck or a balanced deck. And if those don't mean anything to you, well, I guess you haven't been playing much Powered Cube, have you? Yeah, Balance is a card where, well, I don't know if Balance works here so well, but it's pretty much a weird Wrath. Terramander, I don't really like that. I'm going to take Pyromancer. And Stacks, oh, here it is. This is what gives the deck Stacks its name, Smokestack. At each player's upkeep, they sacrifice a permanent for each counter on it, and at the same time you can choose to put a counter on if it's your turn. So you sack, and then you put a counter on, and then your opponent sacks for the counter. And anyway, you're not going to have many permanents in play unless you have a source of permanents like Young Pyromancer. Here I'm going to take Badlands. I could consider taking Smokestack. I do like the card. That was close. I'm almost tempted to do Smokestacks. First of all, we can cast it quickly. Second of all, we have a couple cards that put extra permanents in play. But the nice part about an artifact deck is you're emptying your hand really quickly. All of your artifacts come down early. Then your opponent might have to sacrifice their only land off the Smokestack, and you can win easily there. Smuggler's Copter, Fire Blast. Oh well, it's an artifact. I don't think it's great if we don't have reliable source of creatures, but Fatal Push, not great. I'll take Taiga. Never know what kind of lands you're going to need, which is why it's always safe to pick a dual land, especially in pack 1. Here, more artifacts. And Field of Ruin coming super late. Gonti also coming super late, but they're kind of mid-rangey feeling. I mean, if this is what you're doing and you're hoping to find something good to do later, maybe that's not as powerful as it could be. I don't know, Terminate versus Bone Shredder. I'll take Terminate since we seem to be kind of a more spells-heavy deck, but yeah, the fixing we're really interested in here is the blue fixing. We don't have any of that yet. Not even artifact fixing. So we're a little torn here. We could be just a straight blue-red deck, a Grixis deck, a straight artifact deck, an artifact blue deck, or like a 3-color artifact deck, and we just don't know yet. Pack 2 starts out strong for us. Mana Crypt. The best way to lose the game if you don't find a way to win the game, but incredibly powerful. Soul Ring is another good one. This is a free Soul Ring. Soul Ring costs a whopping 1 mana. This is 0 mana for the same thing. Add 2 mana. So it's like a doubly good Mox Pearl, since we don't care about white mana specifically. And it's an artifact, so it's definitely a powerful one. You don't always run it out turn 1 if you don't have anything to do with it. But if you do have something to do with it, hopefully that thing is powerful and you can win quickly. Definitely grabbing it here, and it's a fun one to see. Thran Dynamo is similar. We can cast that early off of a workshop and keep going. Still, we need to find some things to do with all of our colorless mana. but I'm confident we can find some big artifact titan or engine, or maybe, discounting the mana from Workshop, something like Ugin or Karn, because we'll have all these other sources. Yeah, interesting. Gilded Lotus would really help us with our mana requirements, and it's a really solid ramp card. Tough to say if that really helps us here more than something like Tundra. We don't have white things to cast with Tundra, but still, I am interested in it. Yeah, I mean, Gilded Lotus, it helps, but I'm not sure it helps enough. And that's the kind of card that could wheel if no one else is interested in it. And even if it doesn't wheel, I'm not that sad. Turnabout usually is pretty bad, unless you're in the Storm deck, which I don't usually draft. And when I do, I don't do well with it, but it has applications in a deck like this where you can untap all of your mana. I think I'm going to take Tundra here because that early mana might be so much more important to our deck than your 5 mana thing. And who knows, maybe we'll get a fetch land that can find blue and red and white and whatever. There's Ugin. And there's Dak Faden. Oh, these are two really impressive cards. Ugin, if we can ramp up to the 8 mana, then you pretty much win the game, especially minusing doesn't hurt all of our colorless artifacts to exile them. But then Dak Faden is one of the most efficient and powerful vintage planeswalkers because there are so many good artifacts. And shoot, that's Young Pyromancer. Even with its ultimate, if we ever get there, you gain control of the permanents you target with anything. We have ice and fire, which can steal 1 or 2 permanents depending on if they're creatures or whatever. So any 2 targets, yeah, we could even steal planeswalkers. I'm going to take Dak Faden here and really try to push the red-blue stuff. Sorry, Ugin. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense with what we have so far. I like all of, we don't need many creatures. Young Pyromancer is enough. And then we have Daze, Fire and Ice, Force of Will, which can all make other little tokens. Those are things that the sword can be equipped to. What do we have here? Frost Titan. Maybe that's a good threat. Pia and Kieran give some Thopters, though I'm not sure how good that is. And then we have Ulamog, 11 mana. Will we ever be able to get close to 11 mana? I don't know. 2 damage to any target. That's pretty mana intensive. It does make a lot of bodies, but it's kind of mid-rangey feeling. Frost Titan, on the other hand, might be pretty good. I love these Eldrazi Titans. I'm just not sure how good that's going to be in our specific deck. So I'm going to take the Frost Titan here. If you do get this down, it just denies your opponent like one of their precious permanents, as long as it's a land or creature or something that needs to be untapped. And that's pretty strong. Temple Garden, no, we don't have green, so I'm not that interested in it. We don't have any fetches for green, which would also get us red at this point. Magus of the Moon, non-basic lands become mountains, so that turns off Workshop a little bit. Well, it kind of turns it on to tap for any color, so that's interesting. Spell Queller. Blue dries up quickly. People know how powerful blue is in these old formats. What do we have? Blade Splicer, Spell Queller, Magus, Terminus. Not super excited by this, but a lot of the spells are going to be cheap. The expensive ones are usually relying on cheap spells, so Spell Queller, I mean, it's good, I guess, if you can cast it. Kaya. Gain 2 life if you exile creatures. This exiles tiny things. It's kind of like a Dak Faden in that it's better in these older formats where people are just running out all their 0 and 1 drops to try to play Magic. Swift Spear, we don't have much going on here. Very few artifacts. Baleful Strix, I guess, but that's an artifact that isn't even helped by Workshop at all. Palancron, Council's Judgment, Kolagon's Command. This brings us more squarely into Grixis. Still don't have a lot of black. We don't have really the black for this. I don't know. This is a tough one. I wish we had better options available to us, but that's what we had, okay? We have to deal with it. Trinket Mage. This gets us Mana Crypt and Mox Pearl into our hand. Both are free. Maybe that's good enough. Sword of Fire and Ice is pretty good too. Much better than War and Peace. But I think I'm going to grab Trinket Mage here. That's tough. With just 2 targets, it's maybe not that good. But if you get more than 2 targets, it gets really good. Or at least better. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. Sword of Fire and Ice is really nice, but I don't think I'm relying on creatures as much as that might warrant. Verdant Catacombs. This finds red, and it finds... Does it find white? Not yet. Or does it find blue? That's the real question. No, we only have the Tundra. But it does find red, interestingly enough, and black. So maybe that's worth picking up here. I mean, the fetches are always good. Celestial Colonnade's another option, but I'm going to grab this fetch. It does turn on the Taiga. Ponder, sure. Not necessarily what I want to be doing on turn 1, but it does help out the Young Pyromancer. It is one of the best sorcery cantrips, maybe the best. So happy enough with that. Turnabout, like I said, maybe this is okay. The rest of this stuff is not exciting. Bonfire might be okay. If we are able to ramp up, I think we don't quite have enough artifacts to really be excited about this yet. I'll go for Bonfire though. There are some decks that this really hoses. Small hexproof creatures, or just small creatures in general. Imperial Recruiter, what does that get? Trinket Mage, Pyromancer, and then there's Chartercourse, which is just pretty good in general. I'll grab that. Sometimes you want to put a card in your graveyard, and this is a way to do that for cheap. So it's like better than a Divination. Nykthos, sure. Actually, I'm going to cut Kitesail Freebooter. Non-creature, non-land card. It's better than a... Well, it's pretty much a Duress, unless they have a removal spell for your creature, which they might. Sculler, similar. Rishadan Port and Monastery Swift Spear. Ooh, that's tough. They're both really good. I'm going to grab the Port. The Swift Spear wouldn't be terrible in this deck. Ooh, Ancient Grudge is really good here. First of all, it's in one of our main colors, and second of all, we have easy splashable green. What was I saying? So our deck is kind of prowessy, low creature count, so but it's not very aggressive, I don't think. That's not my plan for it. So the Swift Spear is maybe not as exciting as it would be in like a red aggro spells deck. Okay, Karn Liberated. Here it is. Here's our first win condition in pack 3, so no time to spare. I guess I'll grab that here. Shoot. I was hoping this was going to be a workshop deck, but it seems like the rest of the table has other plans for us. I will take Karn though. Getting to this just means a pretty easy win. All right. We didn't wheel some of the stuff there. We get our chance now with some signets here. Boros Signet and Orzhov Signet. Orzhov is less on our colors. Glenelendra is really good, but hopefully we can salvage this mana situation. War and Power Stone is pretty good too. That's one we get pretty easily off of a Mana Crypt or our workshop, and then ramps us up to whatever. Karn later. Boros Signet helps stuff come into play. Between these two, it's really unclear, but even Ancient Tomb, there's an argument for it, but I think I'll grab Worn Power Stone here. It's not much harder to get out, and it does ramp by more. Oh, thank goodness. First of all, we're not giving up on anything great in this pack to take Volcanic Island, but also Volcanic Island is really good for the mana here. I just want a fetch that either gets blue or red. And Catacombs is fine given our other dual lands, but it'd be really nice to get one more fetch here, which doubles our dual lands for red-blue. But that's pretty important here. There we go. Scalding Tarn, perfect. And Arid Mesa, I'm trying to think, probably Scalding Tarn is just our best bet here. Anything else good? I mean, there's Batterskull and Elish Norn. Ancestral Vision is okay, but compared to Ancestral Recall, which is in this cube, it just doesn't look like much. Yeah, Scalding Tarn, give me that. Blightsteel Colossus. Now we come to it. Can we play this? We don't have a great way to cheat it into play, but we have a few ways to ramp to it. Is 12 too much for us to consider? 12 is a lot. 12 is a lot of mana. And I wouldn't mind picking up a way to cheat into it, so I think I'll grab the Blightsteel here. If nothing else, just screw over the player who's cutting us. Here we go. There's a way to get it. Duretti, Scrap Savant. Mind Twist is also really good, but I'd rather have a deck that kind of works and has a way to win the game, and this kind of gives it to us. It's a way to search for our combo, because you can kind of rummage a couple times, but it also has this, what's it called? I don't know, sacrifice an artifact and return a Welder Goblin effect. Sacrifice your artifact and return an artifact from your graveyard straight to the battlefield. So if we can discard something like... Oh, I guess that doesn't really work with Blightsteel. Still, I think it's good enough. Shoot. Yeah, oh well, I'll take it anyway. There are maybe other things that we can do with it. Sword of Feast and Famine. Untap all lands you control. See, I'm not sure how good that's going to be, but maybe Hangerback Walker or something is good enough. We have a sacrifice outlet for it now. It's a small thing we can get with Trinket Mage, and who knows. Oh well. Yawgmoth's Will, Academy Ruins, get your artifacts back, and just Selesnya Signet. I'm going to grab the Signet here. It's double off color. I suppose it helps with Ancient Grudge a little bit, but the point here is that it can help get us up to Karn and Blightsteel Colossus, both of which we have to hard cast. Poor Duretti, not really helping us. But yeah, that looks good. Academy Ruins is more of like a Mindslaver combo where there's one artifact you want to keep getting back. It's kind of cute with Hangerback Walker, but I'd rather have the ramp here. Past in Flames, no thank you. Recruiter, a little hard to cast. Wandering Fumarole is what we need. Well, hold on, we have a lot of lands. Maybe we need more playables. So we have 19 here. Maybe we can sneak in our Smuggler's Copter. Well, the Fumarole is a win condition in itself, so I think it's worth playing an extra land if it's going to be a creature land like that. Dark Dwellers, Revoker, Banefire. Could we ramp to something like a Banefire and have that be our win condition? Yeah, maybe. I'm not super excited about it, but it is a playable. Siege Gang Commander. Hostage Taker. The mana situation is kind of confusing over here. I'm pretty sure we have a black splash though, and that makes Hostage Taker a bit better. Armageddon, Elish Norn, is that going to be easy to cast at all? No. And then Rixmati Reveler, which I suppose could be a thing. Yeah, someone else is doing the Stacks deck. I mean, several cards are missing that would have been good in our deck, and it probably means someone else is drafting that, because you don't really waste too many picks on hate drafting in a powerful format like this. But we did get rewarded with a few pieces of power. We just have to kind of squeeze some of our sideboard into our main deck at this point. So how does that look? I'm going to do some flashy things like Bonfire of the Damned. Okay, so this is what we're working with for the main deck, and then we can deal with lands later. It looks like we have enough lands just to do whatever we want within reason. But focusing on blue-red, of course, and maybe avoiding double black, although that gets really sad with Nicol Bolas. So maybe we'll remove those two from early consideration. Tundra, so maybe Spell Queller's a bit better. Oh, that's 23. 23 including a lot of early stuff. One less sword than I might want. Kolaghan's Command. Solid. And just like, I guess these are our win conditions. We've got Colossus, Karn, Banefire, Bonfire. Boop. Enough blue cards to make Force of Will work, probably enough islands to make Daze work. I do like both of those. Not enough black really for Nicol Bolas, I don't think. Acquisition, similarly difficult to cast and expensive. We could definitely consider Spell Queller as our one white card. Why is that doing that? Freebooter as another black card. And I don't know if we need either of those, but who knows? Yeah, I could see the Spell Queller. It also hits pretty hard compared to most things. And then Trinket Mage doesn't really help with that, but Trinket Mage will have 3 targets, which is starting to look pretty good. And do we have the white for it? Yeah, I think between Tundra, Scalding Tarn, Taiga, well, not Taiga. I guess it's just Tundra. Maybe we can take out all the white and just put in Freebooter instead, which is just as good, if not better. Or what about this Rix Maadi Reveler? Discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. Otherwise, it just comes in and you rummage. Freebooter's probably better, but Rix Maadi Reveler's easier to cast. That's a tough one. I'll do the Reveler. I don't know if the spectacle cost for this will ever be useful, but no matter. Fun to try out a new card. 24 seems about right, considering we have all of this artifact ramp. Smuggler's Copter, maybe that'll ever get in there. Come to think of it, maybe 17 lands is right here, and I just cut the Reveler. Because so many of our sources are in like Rishadan Port, Workshop, Mana Crypt, Mox Pearl, and a couple, one of these creature lands, maybe Field of Ruin. So we have all of these spell lands, and those utility lands mean we just can put more lands in our deck. 9, 8, 2 about. So let's go 7-7-3 or maybe 8-7-2 to begin with. And that is a lot of lands. So how do we navigate this? Probably go down to 1 swamp right away and put in Mishra's Workshop. Mox Pearl can come in. Field of Ruin can come in. Scalding Tarn Volcanic can come in. Whoops. Leaving the 1 black in is probably okay. And then we can start cutting these guys. Taiga can come in. Verdant comes in, and that finds red more easily. Wandering Fumarole can come in. And then I'm not sure about the Rishadan Port. Well, let's just do a count. So does this find blue? No, Verdant Catacombs doesn't find blue, which is important to note. Easy to miss something like that, but Taiga is also not blue. So looks like 8-8. Field of Ruin is kind of like fixing. 8-8 should be fine. I mean, we don't have that many sources of these things. 8-8 should be fine. Maybe we'd even be okay with 8-7 and put in the Rishadan port. Yeah, it looks weird. Oh shoot, maybe we can't do that. Go to 7-7 and put in the crypt. All right, let's get as greedy as possible here. And then do we need the black? Yeah, so that's 7 sources of each thing. That's probably too greedy. Although Field of Ruin does help. Rishadan Port should probably be an island, though. Or maybe Field of Ruin, but I like Field of Ruin. Or at least I want to try it here. Yeah, hopefully this is good enough. Settled on kind of a conservative mana base here. I say that as it looks kind of crazy, but I'm not trying to do white or triple black. I'm just trying to get mostly blue and a little bit of red, a little bit of black. So I'm going to clean up the mana base here to be a little easier on the eyes. Sometimes you can't do it quite as well as you'd like. Oh well. Something like this. Why do we have Tundra in the deck? That's a good question. Do we get to search for that with anything? Not really. Maybe we do not need Tundra in the deck. It's not helped by a fetch. If anything, it's just a liability. So there we have it. This is the Vintage Cube with some kind of halfway there artifact deck. Sometimes your deck's completely open, which is grace. Yeah, grace in a nutshell. It's great when your deck's completely open. Even when it's not, you can usually piece together something pretty powerful. And I think we got there. We certainly have the tools to win. Round 1, we are graced with the play. So we'll take that. And what a hand. Turn 1 something. Turn 1 Chart Course. Turn 1 Smuggler's Copter. And then if we draw land, we can crew it with Trinket Mage. So that's probably the way to go. Keep that. Mox Pearl. I said Mox Pearl. Oh, you have to cast it. Feels like a land, is not a land. We want to draw a black source, I guess. If the gods are good, get a fetch. There we go. So tap out here, we get Trinket Mage. That's going to find us, well, one of our other good things to do. What should we get here? We've already done our Mox, so I guess we get Mana Crypt. We can always sacrifice it with Duretti. Yeah, nothing to do with it this turn. Unless we find something to do with it with our Smuggler's Copter. And already on the board. Copter, it's not one I use a whole lot, but I guess it's working out well enough here. To discard, what to discard? Maybe Mana Crypt even. Maybe the Island. Yeah. Don't feel like we need the Island. The other card to discard there would be Kolagon's Command, but maybe it's likely enough that we can find a black source this game. Certainly Duretti rummages around for a while. Grim Monolith, this is the player that stole our artifacts, although it's good in most decks. We'll see how... Yeah, another Signet. Someone knows what they're doing. I love it. Look at what you can do on turn 2. 7. I mean, 7 mana over there. Not like total, but the number of mana they've used, if they used both of these. Oh, they just didn't... Oh, you know what? They might have needed red or something? I don't know. Maybe they thought they could use that to untap the Grim Monolith, but Oh yeah, maybe they just misread this. You have to tap 1 mana to activate it. So I guess that's good. Ooh, here we go. Get an artifact and steal it. I wish we had the mana for it. Oh, I wish we had the mana for it. We can try to find it, and that'll involve, yeah, accruing this thing. More black in this deck than I really give it credit for. And I love that this is looting red. Don't need red. And we probably will play another land this turn. So I'm going to discard that. Play Chart a Course. Doesn't... Oh, it's so close. Oh, Dak Faden would have been so good here. If I'd kept that land, wouldn't you know it? So I can't do much this turn. I think I just have to ponder. There we go. Ooh, I could get Force of Will. Force of Will to my hand. Scalding Tarn on top, which I'm pretty sure gets black. And then Field of Ruin. Top, top, top. Look at the top 3 cards. Put them back in any order. So we'll go Field of Ruin, Scalding Tarn, Force of Will. Don't shuffle. So that's the order. No point on playing Mana Crypt. We could have put the land on top, but we can't cast anything with it because it's all these double color requirements this turn. So I just don't want to take the damage. What is this? Tinker. Tinker. Yeah, as long as it's not a hexproof artifact. It might be. It could be the Shroud 7/11. But we can steal anything else they get. Maybe they'll just miss, right? I've definitely cast a Tinker before, or Through the Breach, with nothing in my hand. It is the Shroud thing, so that's definitely not good. But we have 3 turns to live, and they're pretty much done for, or at least they're done doing whatever they were doing. 3 turns to live. Target player discards a card. Yeah, Trample, Island Walk, Shroud. Mana Crypt shouldn't speed up their clock too much. We just need to try to win as quickly as possible. So one thing we could do is steal their Simic Signet. Maybe do that first. Play Hostage Taker. All right, let's go ahead and fetch here. Forget about that next land. We get Badlands, which is our 1 source of black. And 3 puts them at 9. We have to try to get as much on the board as we can, which might mean Hostage Taker this turn. Can't attack through this with our Trinket Mage, so let's go ahead and crew with the Trinket Mage and get our damage in and see if we can find anything better to do. Worn Power Stone, does that set us up at all? Does that help us at all here? It's a bit slow, and if we need it back, we can get it back with Duretti. So I'm going to get rid of that. Three, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what we do here, we need to hold a blue card back, and I think that blue card is going to be Dak Faden for Force of Will. So we play the Mana Crypt. We play Hostage Taker. Remove their Signet just to limit what they can do. Play the Signet because why not? And pass it. And now we're doing 5 a turn plus the Kolaghan's Command, which does race the Leviathan, assuming we don't get double pinged by the Mana Crypt. Balance. Balance. So we'll have to sacrifice a land and a creature. which I don't want to do. Maybe that's not the end of the world, but I think it's pretty bad. They have to discard a card, but I don't know. It's not going to be great. So let's not let them balance here. Let's sacrifice Mana Crypt to get back Worn Power Stone next turn, which we wouldn't be able to do, I don't think, if we didn't put that in our graveyard. Take it to 11. If we win the flip, it doesn't matter. If we lose the flip, we're in trouble. So tails, no, heads. No, it was tails. I was right the first time. That's good. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I think we win here. Unless I miscounted. Did I count my copter as mana? So 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, this should be it. This should be it, as long as I don't screw up too badly. Might as well do this, discard my command. Okay, that's really good. Let's discard Kolagon's command. And now we have Days backup. That puts them at 6. We can Banefire them. 1. Shoot. Simic Signet can be annoying here. Banefire them for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Done. And you can't even counter it. Ooh. Sometimes a random collection of cards just does the trick. But I don't think we were dead there. So we had, if we didn't have the Banefire, we could have survived most things by sacrificing our Mana Crypt to Duretti and then holding up Days, and they only had 2 lands in play, so that's got to be pretty good. Rashaden Port, Tundra. That's super interesting. Tinker. So maybe we have to counter Tinker. Or just steal all their artifacts. Yeah, I think we're okay. But now we know what their Tinker target is. Not a bad start. It's slow. Like, I'd rather be on the play with this hand. And they're down to 6. Gosh. Maybe this is a bad hand. I'm going to keep it, though. I'm going to keep it. If we draw a red, we're in such good shape. They're down to 5 cards. See where they scry. Once they get to it, I'll check out the chat. Might as well. So, sometimes I check the chat like 3/4 through the match, and I realized they messaged me, "Good luck, have fun." I'm like, sorry, I didn't know. Here I am, just refusing to shake their hand. Why don't we daze this? Should have tapped it for mana first. Yeah, we'll just daze it. It's not like the most impressive thing they can do, but it is one of the only things they have in their hand, and now they don't have an artifact for Tinker, and all kinds of good stuff. Stopping on their upkeep because now we have Ice. Walking Ballista as a 1/1, sure. Trinket Mage. Yeah, why don't we just tap down their mountain on their turn? A couple of reasons to do this. One, if they don't have another land, they can't Tinker this turn. And we get to draw a card. If they do play the land and Tinker, then that was the God 5-card keep. That can kind of be a Tinker, but then they'd have to have Chromox and a colored card. Oh, don't do it. It's going to be Tinker. Yep. That's the God hand. That is too much. Now we draw Force of Will? I don't think we're winning this game, but shoot. Thing is, if we didn't counter the Signet, then they might have just had the extra mana. 7. Yeah, we don't have any way to gain life, and I'm pretty sure we don't have any way to deal with this at all, so whatever. We're dead in 2 turns, but maybe we can put something together. I don't think our deck has anything to really put together to get past the Shroud. Otherwise we could steal it with Dak Faden or whatever else. Mana Crypt. Exile target permanent. We need to kill our islands too. That'd be another way. Oh dear. Okay, I'll just take Mana Crypt and play it, because why not? Don't have to discard. Yeah, this is the appeal and the danger of a format like this. It's got to be, you know what? It wasn't heads last time. It's got to be tails this time. No, I lost the flip. So yeah, we're dead in a lot of ways. I don't want to like, I want to see what's in their hand, I guess, but I don't really want to show them what that we have a Kolaghan's Command. So no reason to dive into that. Okay, whoop, game details. No game details. Submit deck. There are ways we could fight this. Rashadan Port, Spell Queller, Freebooter. But I think our main plan is pretty good. Yeah, maybe we get rid of Sword of War and Peace. It's just a lot of damage. But it gains life. I was wrong. We do have a way of gaining life, which is the Sword of War and Peace. Yes, I'll play first, and this hand looks great, as far as I can tell. Just start with a turn 1 Ponder. So we'll know what we're drawing, or at least we'll stop drawing the worst possible cards. We don't want any, like, these are all mana. We don't need any of that. Like, we need one more piece of mana, but we'd rather have a creature. So any order, and then shuffle. Okay, we get a land anyway, which I guess we couldn't avoid, but a green land is not bad for the Ancient Grudge. The Ancient Grudge, okay. Catacombs, does it even have a target? Yeah, it's a weird one, because it's 2 targets in her hand except Basic Swamp. It can also get Basic Swamp. So that is a reasonable thing to get here. We'll need red eventually, but we don't need it right away. And I don't want to draw a Basic Swamp. We don't need to preserve the shuffle effect. So let's just get that Smuggler Copter down. The other option is to like ice their island this turn, but ice is going to have good targets later in the game, and maybe fire is good. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure it's a Signet here. We can grudge the Signet. Don't really want to show them Taiga, but I guess there's no reason not to. Yeah, we'd better grudge. Oh, well, I forgot how cheap that was. If we had another red, we'd be great to hold up a flashback of the Ancient Grudge, but I think this is good enough. Hopefully they don't do their Chrome Mox trick this turn, because that would be absurd, and probably we can't beat that. Chrome Mox Tinker. Yes, okay, great. So they might have Tinker, but they don't have Chrome Mox. Anyway, I will play a land here first, because I want to hold up the Ancient Grudge. So get out Dak Faden. Hopefully they don't just counterspell it or whatever. And then we can plus on us, discarding Island Worn Power Stone, maybe. I mean, Power Stone's good, but it doesn't really help what we have going on now. I'd rather just get another token off of the Pyromancer and hold up our control. And keep just ticking up Dak, because if we -6 Dak and we have Banefire and Fire, that's pretty good. The only thing it doesn't beat is that giant hexproof thing, but maybe we could race it at that point. It's looking good. It's looking good for us. We probably shut them down somehow by killing their one artifact. Time will tell. Yeah, I mean, the other thing is their hand could just be full of artifacts, but they can't play them out into Dak Faden. So good luck with that. The thing is, if they do play an artifact and it hits the board, we don't have time to kill it before they can cast Tinker. I'm pretty sure, unless Tinker is worded in a weird way, but I don't think it is. I think it's worded pretty normally. We need red, not double black. Pyromancer. Crew the Copter. Always yield to that. Yeah, we'll do that. Discard. I think I want to discard the Fumarole here. It's not a bad one, but like we're kind of limited on what we can do. Then I'm going to do this to myself. Discard 2 cards. Target player or planeswalker and each creature or player that planeswalker's controller controls. So that's another one. If they do play a planeswalker and we ultimate Dak Faden, we could use it. But I think I'm going to discard it. It's another way we can deal with the giant shroud monster too if we ever get it up to 1,000,000. But yeah, let's discard these two and play the Tarn. And I'll probably just sack the Tarn here. Thin our deck a bit. We're going through our deck pretty quickly, but like maybe we could have kept Bonfire there and just done it that way. Grim Monolith, okay. Grim Monolith Tinker, I mean that is an option. Looks like Grim Monolith Tinker, if I had to guess. Of course they would have it every game. Maybe they'll misclick and get not their big Shroud monster. The thing is, if it's in their deck, they can't get it. So that's a thing. Also, the extra land will be good for Banefiring them. Maybe they'll kill Dak Faden. That's another option they have. If we get it up to 6, they don't want us to use it. Anyway, let's go ahead and sack this thing. Get another blue, because we don't have that much blue. Blightsteel, that's the Tinker target. Why do we have that in our deck? For fun, I guess. For fun. We can discard it, and it'll go back into our deck. So we can draw it again. Anyway, let's go ahead and do this. See what we see. Yes, get rid of Blightsteel. So instead of going to our graveyard, it just gets shuffled in. Kind of an easy thing to do online. And then, I'm not going to mill ourselves here, so... Oh, Sword of War and Peace, it's so good. So I think we get rid of Karn and Banefire. I think we can get rid of Karn and Banefire. That's only 4 damage anyway, so get rid of Karn, get rid of Banefire. Play Sword of War and Peace. Equip that next turn. One, two, three. Make sure we don't tap out of green. Yeah. And see what happens. They might go after Dak here. If they do, it's another turn, so that's fine. They just took a damage, so that's fine. We can counter just about anything they can do. We can kill an artifact they cast. So I'm feeling, I mean, it's not over, but I'm feeling pretty good about this anyway. they want to empty their hand, because the more cards they have in their hand, the more damage they'll take by once they're hit by Sword of War and Peace. This is awkward with vehicles because it falls off of your vehicle when your vehicle is not a creature anymore, so you have to keep equipping it each turn, but it's not that big of a cost. It's always better if it's free, though. We could have hard cast Force of Will here if we kept our 5 mana up. And that's really good when you have Fire and Ice in your hand, and that's the only card you can pitch to Force of Will. Here we go. What is this? 6 mana, Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Interesting. That is super interesting, isn't it? It's not an artifact. I think that means they have to go after Dak Faden this turn to protect Elspeth from dying. Damage to that player equal to the number of cards in their hand. This was better before the Planeswalker rule, so you can't redirect it to a Planeswalker. I think you could have before. The sword damage would go to the player. You could redirect that to the Planeswalker. Not so anymore. So I just have to think about this. Do we want this to resolve? Like, obviously not, but it might be okay if it does. I think we're okay. I think we're okay to counter it here. Yeah, I think we're okay. And it's kind of funny, but all the damage we're taking until we're down to 14 doesn't really hurt us. So that's all good. That's all well and good. And now the moment of truth. Do they attack Dak Faden or do they attack us? And either way, I'm happy with that outcome. The only thing I'm not happy about is not having my Fire and Ice and my Force of Will. They're coming after us. That is great for us, I think. It means, I mean, it basically means they're never going after Dak Faden. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're taking 10. They're taking 10. We're gaining 1. And we're kind of looking at a new card from Mox Pearl, which we know we don't want. And if we get a card off of Smuggler's Copter that lets us steal a land, for instance, I don't think we have one of those, but maybe we could hold that up. So to begin with here, maybe we should use this first. Instant or sorcery spell, you get another token. Yeah. Ancient Grudge would steal something. Yeah, I think I'm going to plus first, because maybe we'll find a spell and we can get one more damage in off of the Elemental, for instance. Discard 2 cards. Okay, so let's discard Lodestone Golem and Mox Pearl. I don't want to chart a course first, because I can do that second main, and that works out pretty well. Equip here. Hold up 1 blue, hold up the green. I'll still get to loot here, and I doubt I'll keep that card because Chart a Course just seems much better. So we can go ahead and cast Chart a Course, make another token. Mishra's Workshop, I don't think that helps us much here. So we'll just pass it. Up to 11. Yeah, the more cards in our hand, the better Sword is. Yeah, that worked out nicely, I would say. It wouldn't have worked out much differently. Well, actually, it would have worked out better if I didn't DAC first, because I would have gotten to discard like Workshop or something, or maybe Kolagon's Command and play Golem. I don't know. but it was okay. They're at 3, so they're in really bad shape. I mean, this does 2 damage to any target, so that and an elemental is lethal on its own. They have to kill us, basically. And the shields are down. I mean, what does it? Lightning Bolt doesn't quite do it. Each player discards their hand and draws 7. Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Daze. That's what I'm talking about. This is kind of a scary play for them to make. Force of Will is gone, but I think they know about Daze. And they only have 3 mana left to kill us. Do 4 damage or stabilize the board. So good luck. I'm pretty sure this just steals permanents. Yeah, it doesn't steal spells or something. There's Goblin Welder. Good, thank you. Sacrifice your Leviathan. Soul Ring. What would they get back? Boros Signet? Smokestack? Well, this doesn't have haste anyway. 2, 3. Simic Signet is fine. Be lovely if they tapped out here somehow. Play another Signet. No. Okay. Attacking us. All right. So far, so good. And then I'm going to go ahead and Ancient Grudge their Soul Ring, just to make another Pyromancer. And potentially just kill them here. They can't block the Pyromancer. I have a lot of cards in my hand, so War and Peace gets me there too. Maybe they were trying to mill us. Shoot, we only have 4 cards left in our deck. We don't have anything. Well, okay, we do have something that can target. Frost Titan. No, it has to be a spell. So we don't have any spells in our hand that can target. I don't know why I'm taking this long, but it seems like they haven't conceded, so we might as well play it out here. Okay. No looting, because I'm a little worried about them casting like Ancestral Recall on us or something crazy. Alright, got there. See you in the next match. Round 2 on the play, just where we want to be. Looks like a bad hand, but I think this is keepable. We have Fumarole, so we just play that turn 1. And it puts us kind of back on the draw with 2 mana. Which is okay, as it turns out. And then we can do this tricky business here, where we ice their swamp and maybe slow them down a bit. But really the advantage of this is drawing the card. Well, it's both. Don't want them to Hymn to Turok us or something crazy. Yeah, Pyromancer is not terrible. If they couldn't do something last turn, why would they be able to do something this turn? It doesn't stand to reason that they would. Tough. Well, what are the options here? We could get rid of Blightsteel Colossus with Dak Faden. We could get a Trinket with Trinket Mage. I think I want to do that. And I want to be as greedy as possible, so I'll get Mana Crypt and save it for next turn, because can't use it this turn. Don't need your upkeep anymore. 1 with nothing, MTG. That's a card name. It says discard your hand. 1 black. Could be good. Our last opponent played Balance on us. Imagine 1 with nothing, or Balance 1. I don't know. Never mind. Don't worry about that. Trying to think of ways to make discarding your hand good. Collective Brutality. Hey! Instant or sorcery. So they can get Banefire. I guess we just let this happen. They take Banefire basically, which isn't Which isn't that bad for us, all things told. Trading one card in their hand for one card in ours. Now, mono black deck. It can't be a mono black deck. It's probably black blue, and that's why they're not doing anything. I mean, it certainly could be a mono black deck, but it's just not what I expect. Not what I think we're dealing with. I want to get land out here. Is that so wrong? 1, 2. Well, we're not going to use the black for anything, I don't think. So we can do this. We can play Dak Faden, target ourselves. Oh, okay. Field of Ruin, Mana Crypt, Mox. So we can discard Pyromancer, Blightsteel Colossus, and then play a fairly sizable Hanger Backwalker here. A 2/2 Hanger Backwalker, that's right. Even get in 2 damage, wow. And next turn we'll have Frost Titan, which I believe they've seen. We can even cast it. There might be a brief period here where we're at lower life than they are due to our Mana Crypt, but that's just up to the toss of the dice. The flip of the coin. The flop of the dice. Okay, here we go. I'm good at choosing this right. It's definitely tails. Yes. Confidence. The key to winning a coin flip. It's pretty cheap to make that bigger. We could Field of Ruin the Bayou. Kind of an expensive play. Or we could just tap it down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the reason I don't want to play the land is because we'll have Dak Faden. Tap down that Bayou. Get out of here, Bayou. Do we want this volcanic island? I think we do. More red. Red is good. We don't necessarily need it now, though. Do I care if they discard it? Yeah, I guess I don't want them to discard it, so in case Hangerback dies, I'll pump that up now. It's not like they can attack into it. Yeah, I mean, getting a Frost Titan out on turn whatever this is, turn 5, is pretty good against a stumbling opponent who just found their color. Of course, they're probably going to be able to draw out of this, but they don't have this land this turn. White Obzon deck of some kind. Planeswalker. Damnation. Okay. So that deals with the Frost Titan, but now we have 3 Hangerback Walker things, and we have Wandering Fumarole to sort of do its thing. 3 damage. Okay, it's definitely tails again. It was right last time. Oh no, they're psyching me out. They're waiting, so they want me to not choose tails, because otherwise they'd pass, right? Because they know I'm choosing tails. Yes, of course. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Target player draws 2 cards. Yeah, I don't love this Power Stone because it helps when you have stuff to do, but it doesn't help when you don't have anything to do. Oh no. What does this do? Oh dear. Okay, let's get rid of Power Stone and Force of Will. No, not Force of Will. Never Force of Will. Maybe we do get rid of Force of Will, because that lets us attack with the Fumarole and then Hostage Taker their next play. Oh, it's tough. This is a tough turn. Never mind. Let's keep Force of Will. And I'm pretty sure that lets us do this action. Get rid of that Bayou. Maybe that's their only source of green. Like, they might not have basic forest in their deck. And that leaves us with just enough to cast Force of Will, which is fine. That's fine in my book. We can get another red to balance the force. And I guess we have an extra mana here even. Yeah, running out Damnation into Thopters is not the best. Yeah, okay, so they get a Plains. So unless they needed double white, then this play might have really helped us. But, you know, they're going to get... They probably would have drawn that naturally anyway. 7 cards in their hand. What can we do? What can we do? We can ultimate Dak next turn. They can't play any artifacts, not really. Ultimating Dak doesn't do much unless we draw our Fire and Ice again. Dark Petition. Sure, put any card you want in your hand. And they're casting it with Spell Mastery, so they'll have access to 4 black mana here. We don't get to see what they put in their hand, because it really is a Demonic Tutor effect. Yeah, pretty much exactly Demonic Tutor here, except they have a little less choice in what mana they have up afterwards. And they have to use it right away. Will they use it? Yeah, they found their card, but what will they do next? Maybe they realize that us not attacking with the Fumarole means we have counter magic, which is correct. We do. I mean, we discarded Hostage Taker, so it's not like we have nothing in our hand. Just land or something. I wish we had Banefire. Why did we have to discard all of our good cards? Animate Dead on Frost Titan. Oh, that's not good. Animate Dead on Frost Titan. I don't want to deal with that now. And if we use our Force of Will, we can attack with the Fumarole, assuming we don't find anything better to do. Yeah, it's not like we would definitely lose to Frost Titan, but there's enough reason to do this that I'm just going to... Okay, goodness. There's enough reason to do that. Especially if they concede to it. Usually, if you can make a play that your opponent will concede to, that's what you want to do. Okay, Rishadan Port is especially bad here. What else? Terminate. I don't know. Can we get a turn 1 Lodestone Golem? That's all I really want. I'm not too picky. You know, I don't think I took a screenshot of this deck yet. I'm going to do that quickly. Taking the draw here on game 2 of round 2. And our opponent has a 41 card deck, which, you know, I've been known to use those occasionally. But Vintage Cube is one of the places where like the deck building truisms really apply. We have close to a turn 1 Lodestone Golem. If we draw our Mox or something, we're there. But it's sad it was not meant to be. So we just ponder here. And what do we find? We find Karn, which doesn't really make sense in Mox Pearl. We do want the Mox Pearl, so I think we go top, 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 don't shuffle, and then they could get rid of a card, but I don't think they can get rid of Mox Pearl. I don't really want them to know about it. So I guess I shouldn't have put that on the top, unless I'm going to play it here. Is there any reason not to play it? No, I think I just play it to protect it. It doesn't get, well, it gets duressed, but it doesn't get gotten by collective brutality. Nothing in our hand does. But anyway, stealing their Signet or their Mox seems pretty good here. Vraska, that's an early Vraska. Oh no! Yeah, I played it and it did the opposite of protect it. Wow, okay. Wow, wow, wow. All right, that's fine. So now we'll just do Lodestone Golem. Oh, well. Hopefully that puts them off of stuff. But they have a ton of mana here, so if their kill spell is 4 mana, they could probably still kill Lodestone Golem here. This doesn't get planeswalkers, right? Just creatures. It feels like I really misplayed this. I was thinking if they had another thing like a Thoughtseize, I really wanted Mox Pearl in play. They're going to sacrifice Mox Jet. I guess that's a somewhat good sign. Yeah, too bad. Too bad for me. We're so close to being able to kill the Signet or steal it, and then they wouldn't have had black. Damnation, it's an expensive turn for them. Our only real play here is to play Smuggler's Copter, because we only have 2 mana that can't cast artifacts. Very few creatures in our deck. What do we need? I guess we need to draw like a land. Any land to begin with, and then a good land later. But as soon as we can get Dak Faden down, we can start discarding our Karns and whatever. Yeah, this did not work out as well as I would have liked. Okay. They killed Smuggler's Copter with Vraska, and fair enough, because, well, I don't really know what that does to them, but oh, come on. Dak Faden stealing Signet here. Wouldn't that be nice? Magic. The woes of a high variance format in a high variance game with a high variance deck, high variance player at the helm. Don't cast another green spell. Dark Petition. Okay. So they get to find what they want, but they don't get the extra mana off of it. They only have 1 instant or sorcery in their graveyard. This is a low variance card because you get what you want. Hopefully that's it for them this turn, and it is, and we find a land, but it's not fast enough. I think this is the only land in our deck that's not fast enough. We only have 2 lands in our deck that can't cast Dak Faden the turn they come into play, and now we have both. Ugh, Vraska got value. Vraska, well, kind of gained 1 life, cantripped the Mox Jet, and killed 2 of our cards, including a card that would have let us cast Dak Faden 3 years ago. Yes, back in time to 3 years ago this day, and we would have easily won the game already if that was the case. All right, what have you got? So this is the turn where they have all of their mana and the card from their deck that they've wanted to play most. A little bit of drain, and they'll steal Banefire. That's not too bad. They do see Dak Faden coming, so what? So I guess they're going to tap the Signet if they have extra mana. If they just used black and white, they might leave the Signet untapped, which would be good for us. Dak Faden would be effectively a 2-mana card, depending on what we have left over to do. But that would be great. That's a black source for us, for the Hostage Taker. They did get a card. There was a time when we didn't have any targets in our hand, but they got it this time. Now what? Well, I guess they have new information. They have to reprocess everything. No, it's Griselbrand. They discarded Griselbrand to Brutality. I was wondering what was going on with that. Yeah, oh, it's almost good. It's not good, though. We can almost hostage take this Griselbrand, but we cannot. We cannot do that. Dak stealing Signet, I think, is our best bet. But winning against 14 cards is not going to be easy. 21 cards even. This might not be a spell, it's just to tap the signet. Draw 7 cards. Oh, well, it could be a spell. I mean, we haven't definitely lost, but if they can't win from here, it would be surprising. It would be an embarrassment to legacy players everywhere. No, I don't know. I mean, this is the combo. But we do have ways to deal with it. If they don't deal with our mana base, we can hostage take it, which exiles it. Until... Oh, it comes back into play if they kill hostage taker, not back to their hand or something. So what we really want to do is Karn to destroy it. Orzhov's signet, sure. Oh boy. Another unstoppable threat. I do like sort of the high variance, high impact early turns mind twist of this format. What I don't like is the slow, calculated victory of your opponent when they're slightly ahead. And now they're way ahead. Okay, they just dealt with everything. And technically we're not out of it, so I'm going to keep going. I'll even switch the power and toughness levels. Once. Puts them down to 11, so they can't draw 14 before they attack. Not that they need to or want to. But sometimes you are low enough that you can't draw any cards off Grizzlebrand before it dies. Yeah, they did draw the cards, so they wanted something to do against a completely I don't know, completely empty opponent here. Hellbent. Yeah. Tie game? Call it a draw. Let's call it a draw. I think we both played well. In the end, we can respect each other and call it at that. Of course, I'll win the match because I'm up a game, but I'm pretty sure we should call this game a draw. What is this? Una's Prowler. So it really is a Reanimator deck with other impressive cards like, I don't know, some random like splash of Vraska, which turned out to be insane here, and Brutality, which is really good in this deck. Elish Norn and Iona worth keeping in mind. Kolaghan's Command, what does that do? Basically nothing. It'd be funny if they were at 9 and we killed them with it. Target player discards a card. I think we just call it quits here. They're just getting to learn too much about our deck. Cool. So, what does that tell us? I don't know. I think I like the setup here. Certainly there are useful cards in our sideboard, but they're just not in colors I really want. Freebooter's great, Terminate's good, Spell Queller's good against most of that stuff, but it just dilutes what we're doing so much. I mean, maybe I could get rid of Copter and put in Freebooter instead. That's probably worthwhile. They do have Damnation, but that's the kind of card we could steal with it. Spell Queller's also good, but then we have to look at our mana base again. Yes, I want to be on the play. I want a really good hand, and this qualifies. I think we keep this. We've got Ponder and Daze held up, and we're really looking for just mana. Come on, Ponder, let's get some Badlands. Verdant Catacomb gets it. Verdant Catacomb does it. So let's go Taiga on top, Catacombs on top, Mishra's Workshop on top, just to have that in our hand to get Worn Power Stone out. And then shuffle no, so we draw the Workshop, potentially daze something if they try to go off too early. I really don't want to daze here. Okay, we don't have to daze. Catacombs, getting Badlands, getting Freebooter with daze backup. We can do Worn Power Stone at a later date. Get that Badlands. Freebooter, how good is this? Reveals their hand. And then we can take any of these things. They've got Grizzlebrand and they've got Sheoldred. I guess we have to take Assassin's Trophy, don't we? Or we could take Mox Jet and then daze their next play. Oh, it's so devious. Yeah, daze their next play, and then Worn Power Stone. Okay, there's the swamp. Whatever they do, if they're going to Signet or Trophy, we daze it. I don't know why, but why not, right? So here we go Workshop into Power Stone, swing, and then we can get a Trinket Mage for some kind of thing. Sheoldred's pretty good, but I think Sheoldred gets a lot worse when... Oh, they might trophy the Power Stone. I have no idea what they would trophy. Its controller may put a basic land card from their library onto the battlefield, so it just ramps us if they trophy anything. Even Worn Power Stone is fine because we have Kolaghan's Command. How good is Kolaghan's Command in this matchup? Pretty good if it's killing a Signet. Not so good if it gives them a discard outlet, because right now they have no way of getting these into the graveyard. They need that and the reanimation effect, so hopefully we have enough time to deal with all that. Trinket Mage, interesting. Oh, they have a draw step, of all things. What could they have? Sheoldred, Assassin's Trophy, Grizzlebrand. And now they have our draw step. I'm trying to think. Okay, tap the mana. This is really interesting. Yes, use the ability. We want red here. And we could even use Kolaghan's Command this, like, right now. But we have no good reason to use it, so I think we just pass here, do our Trinket Mage thing. Oops, Trinket Mage. I don't know, maybe we want Young Pyromancer instead. They've used Assassin's Trophy. That's just a funny one for them to use right there. 3, 6, I think it's a 3/3 thing. They have Damnation in their deck. I don't know, I'll play the Pyromancer. Not an easy turn, I guess. I don't want to play a 1/1 Walking Ballista this turn off the Mishra's Workshop. And getting the Mox doesn't really help us that much either. So what is this? Killing Pyromancer. Fair enough, we get our Mox Pearl here anyway. Which I might as well play. They can't catch us too unawares this turn. And yeah, I'll play Trinket Mage. We'll get our 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we get Mana Crypt. And just pass it. So what does Mana Crypt do? Mana Crypt potentially gets Karn down next turn, which is really good because exiling Hissing Quagmire seems like a winning play. Yes, okay, good deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Karn. Exile Quagmire. Whew. I don't know if they wanted the white or the green more, but now, I mean, it's really hard for them to get green. Oh. The power of vintage. Una's Prowler. Next turn, maybe they can reanimate. Heads, obviously. Confidence. You lost the flip. Well, it doesn't matter. So there. I probably want to attack their black source. Maybe not. Maybe I just want Karn. Oh dear. They can discard whatever they want from their deck. Or from their whatever. They can discard whatever they want. And maybe get back Shieldred. How dreadful. Gets -2, -0. I don't want them to get back the Mox. But if they get back the Mox, that's not the worst thing in the world. Oh, not an easy turn, not an easy turn. I'm trying to think whether to attack into this Una's Prowler. Because we could, and they can get back their Mox, but then they won't have a card discarded. They've got 5 cards in hand. Yeah, heck with it. Let's just attack first. Let's just attack first. I don't think they block. And if they don't block, I guess they could pressure Karn if we don't use it to kill their swamp. Okay. Oh, they're doing it. Oh, that's, I think that's good. I think that's good for us. Who knows, though? I don't know. All I see is that if they let this trade, they don't have a card in their graveyard. Okay, so yeah, they're just losing their Prowler, which is, yeah, I mean, this is ideal. This is perfect. So what that means is I should really exile their swamp. I don't know, though. Banefire, is that enough to kill Shieldred? 3, 4, 5. No, not really. But the thing is, Karn can exile Shieldred, so yeah, let's keep it up. The worry here is that they have the reanimation effect, and they draw a black source and do it anyway, and then we don't have a Karn in play. So I'd rather have a Karn in play and them have the mana. But it is not super easy. They get Damnation. Kolaghan's Command doesn't do anything. Banefire doesn't do anything, so let's just pass it. Shieldred. We have enough creatures to sacrifice 2 Shieldred. Here they are, Reanimate, and they go really low. Reanimate does 7 to them. Banefire's not instant, so that doesn't do it. They've only got 1 white up. So now they really are dead. Heck, we can even give them back their Mox. I won't. I'll give them I'll sacrifice Trinket Mage here. Goodbye, Trinket Mage. Puts them even lower. Heads, of course. I won the flip. Nice. I guess one strategy is just to always choose the same thing. Now then, 5 damage to you. Or 6 damage, I can count. Awesome. On to the finals. Beating the reanimation deck and the deck that was trying to be our deck in round 1. Let's see what we face in the last round. Here we go. We lose the die roll, so we have to take the draw here, but I don't know. I think this hand's probably good enough. We've got our turn 1 ponder. It's not as exciting maybe as some other possible draws, but yeah, let's try out the ponder. A blue deck. Maybe this is the blue-red. I don't want any of this. Do I? No. Field of Ruin doesn't come down soon. We have the colors we need somewhat, so I'm just going to shuffle. See what we get. Karn, another expensive one. Yeah, this could be the combo red-blue deck. Let's see. Or just a white-blue control deck. Or a... What are the other options? I guess a 3-color deck. Well, chart a course. Draw 2 cards, discard 1 card. Let's discard Blightsteel. They're like, what did they discard? None of your business. I think they can check here. Reveals Blightsteel Colossus. Sure. Okay, that is a Monastery Mentor. Hopefully we can fire that up. Oh wow, look at this ramp. 6 mana this turn. 6 is not 7, as they say. But that's enough. I guess we have enough here to go fire on the Mentor. We have Force of Will and Daze, so I don't think we get too punished by this. Then we go Mana Crypt, and we go Pearl. We go Island. We tap a whole bunch of mana and play Lodestone Golem. And then prevent ourselves from ever getting Karn into play. No, this should be fine. Always tails. I've always been choosing tails. But I lost. I better choose heads from now on. Okay, here we go. Lodestone Golem, we also have to be careful with Daze because we'll need an extra mana on either half of it. Do I want to save Kolaghan's Command? Yeah, I think so. 7, we are close to Karn next turn, but whatever. Having them discard a card that they want to with Kolaghan's Command is not good enough. Choose 2. I mean, 2 damage to them barely matters. So we'll wait until they have an artifact or a creature target. Wrath of God. Wrath of God, huh? I think that's okay. Wrath of God. I mean, it kills Thing in the Ice. I think that's okay. Then what? Then we can discard 2 cards from their hand with Kolaghan's Command and then Karn. I'm going to save Kolaghan's Command. That only seems fair. Yeah, Tails just never works, so it heads... I lost the flip again. What is... It's like every other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Karn. This is why I love Cube. I have all the effects. I have all the good stuff. Hopefully they don't steal Karn here, but some ways of doing that, we could Daze. Fatal Push. Okay, saved our Pyromancer at least. And that's pretty annoying for them to deal with. Otherwise, we could have gone after the Concealed Courtyard, but that doesn't leave Karn with a whole lot of Loyalty. This is a good one. They make this into a 3/2, which is a target for Kolaghan's command. So I'm happy enough letting them do that. As long as I hold mana up here, which we should be able to. Dig through time with 1 mana up to stop days. Maybe they thought we had days because we thought so long for the Force of Will last turn. But who knows? I mean, if you know enough about the cube, you know what cards to at least your opponent could have. Because there aren't many cards in the, like, once you know the whole cube, more or less, there aren't many cards in the cube that you will never see played. Some cards just don't matter if they're played. They're just replaceable. But there are a couple cards like Days, which, given that they're in the cube, you might as well play around them. I'm going to put in Freebooter again here over Copter. Copter's not awful. But Freebooter seemed to do well last time against a controlling deck like this. Bolus. I can't. But like, we don't even have enough black sources in our whole deck. We're several short. On the draw again. Well, here's a hand. So turn 1, Workshop into Power Stone, into a 3/3 Hangerback Walker on turn 2. That might be okay. This is Ancestral Vision. Haven't played against much power. I think we saw 1 Mox. But who has the recall? Who has the time... what is it? Blanking on the name of the card that takes an extra turn. It's been too long since I've played Vintage Cube. Time Warp. No, it's not. Whatever. Disenchant. Not cool. Not cool at all. Okay, well, I don't want to get too far behind here, so I'm going to play a 2/2 Hangerback Walker. It's not like we could have done much else this turn. It does put our Dak Faden back a turn, unless we draw a Mox. Get a Badlands here off Scalding Tarn. Disenchant, yeah, that's so annoying. It's so good. Dak Faden doesn't really matter either. Yeah, put in the Fumarole, and then we can get black next turn. Just do this before they, I don't know, have some other way to kill it. Karn just, I mean, Karn should be an artifact. Karn is an artifact from what I can tell, but Mishra's Workshop, it's just not the kind of artifact they know how to make in the old Mishra's Workshop. Ancestral Vision coming off next turn. So this is going to be a tough one to win. They've got Jace in play. Kolaghan's Command hopefully kills that this turn. Bouncing all the hard work we've done here. Okay, Badlands. And it's better to Kolaghan's Command this turn while they have less options. So target player, target thing. And then maybe make a 1/1 Hangerback? For lack of a better play? Who knows? Yeah, I mean, might as well. It's not our main win condition anyway. Gives us more options. Target us, please. No, they targeted themselves. They're back up to 7 cards in hand. The boards are empty. Our board is a little better, maybe. It's worse for mana, since we don't have any artifacts, but it has a creature, I guess. Play an artifact. They haven't seen our hand, so maybe we can get away with stealing some big artifact they play. Like a Gilded Lotus. It did make it around a little bit. Hostage Taker's really good on that. Of course, they can counter Hostage Taker, but if they don't, that'd be good. Yeah, they must have hostage, or they must be able to counter it here. I can't imagine them not. Which means I want to play Dak Faden. What is this stuff? This is exile. So Spell Pierce is in exile. I don't care if Dak Faden resolves. They don't care either. Target myself. Maybe discard this island. Ooh, Selesnya Signet. So let's go ahead and play that Signet. Yep. Warning, you must have made a mistake. 1 mana left in your mana pool. You should know better. They can use Tassiger here. We'll give them Search, because I don't want them to disenchant us. And then when they go after Dak, we just sacrifice Hangerback Walker to it. It's going to be a tough one. No easy win this game for either of us, really. Mind Twist us? No, that was our last opponent. Sower of Temptation. Oh no. Well, the good news here is we're getting it back. The bad news is they kill our Dak. 5 hostage taker, and possibly they kill the hostage taker. This is not going to be easy. I think we'll get it back. Maybe we don't even get it back. That's annoying. Probably we steal Tassiger here. If they counter it, that would be unfortunate, but we can play it. And it's not worth the risk, I think, of when it enters. Yeah, they can kill it in response, but yeah, let's go after Tassiger here. They can Swords this in response, and there's nothing we could have done about that. Swords gain some life, at least. I shouldn't have given them the token on Hangerback Walker. I didn't think about that for so long. But I saw that we had like multiple answers to Sower in our hand. But if they don't resolve, we just take more damage off of our Walker. Oh well. Gave them the Search. Catacombs. Now then, what to do? It's still not enough mana. I mean, we can play the Pyromancer. Yeah, I mean, drawing 3 extra cards is really bad news, especially since we hadn't really established much of a board against them. Fact or Fiction, it's a good one. Sure, I really don't want them to have Cryptic Command. Concealed Courtyard comes into play tapped, just adds white or black, not that good. Dig is pretty good, the rest go to the graveyard. I don't know. Yeah, they took the counter magic, which they might as well. We only have 1 card in our hand. So I guess I split that up right. Now they flip Search. One hope here is that they just mill themselves, but they have too much damage on the board to really hope for that. Monastery Mentor, and they're holding up Cryptics, so there's so little we can do. Well, let's try this. Let's get a red source. Oh, we don't have any. Oh, yes, we do. Taiga. Thank goodness for Taiga. It doesn't matter, because that we don't have the extra land to keep it tapped. So maybe just this, which also has its disadvantages here. Oh, they can stop that from working. But if we do it for 2, maybe we're okay. So they'll counter it, right? 1, cast it. Oh my god. Okay, so play this, tap it, and then there. X is 2, and they'll pump up their mentor, they'll counter this, and then we'll have 3 mana left over to cast whatever we draw. Maybe they don't counter it and just kill us with Tasigur, but I bet they counter it. No, we're dead on board to this because Mentor survives. Oh, that was my draw for the turn. Oh, yeah. I don't play with Miracle that often. And I got tripped up with it, but that's okay. All the best cube drafts go to the last game. No exception. Yeah, good enough. And we get the play. The first time we'll have the play here. Rishadan Port, pretty good, but it's probably not worth it to dilute our mana. Maybe we take out Blightsteel Colossus. Can this thing even be any good? I don't think so. Smuggler's Copter in. Blightsteel Colossus out. Done. Definitely take the play when and where you can. What about this? I'll keep it. Looks like our lands are pretty well set up, so I guess I can grab red-green with Catacombs just so I don't have to draw that ever for one of my draws. And no, not Trinket Mage. Badlands here. And we'll go Freebooter just to see what's up. Probably lots of removal spells. So we take a look. They reveal their hand, and then we choose a card from it. So I guess we get Search, because they can do that this turn, and I wouldn't mind if they pathed our Freebooter. I don't think. It's weird. It like reveals the hand twice, sort of, and they played a Plains. From what I can see, their hand doesn't have enough land, and it doesn't have any interaction with like our artifacts. It has some pretty good ones, but what we can do is Trinket for a Soul Ring to put in the Signet this turn, and that's a pretty powerful play. I just want to get ahead as quickly as possible, so we go Trinket Mage, get our Mana Crypt, play the Crypt, play the Signet, and attack for 1, I guess. Now, I guess we don't have much to do with all this, but the nice part here is we have Hostage Taker with a lot of mana, so we could potentially... Oh, they get white, so they can't even play Jace. This is working out well. Heads, obviously. I lost the flip. Wow, it's like the faster you choose, the worse your prospects. Anyway, oh, no second blue. Why is it so difficult to plan out a turn? Anyway, first things first, attack them. Because if I'm losing life, they better be losing life too. Play this guy. Play this guy. And they might want to path the Pyromancer, although that'll get us our second blue. So, I don't know. Okay, they're not doing it. Don't draw any land. Do we just win because they don't draw land? And because we took their search? Wait, stop. No, always yield to it, but heads didn't work last time, so it must be tails this time. No! Lost the flip again. What? Ugh. Don't understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Puts them at 9. Carry the 3. I think we need to save Banefire. But yeah, now's their chance. No, they're not even doing it. I was going to say now's their chance to sort of kill the Pyromancer. If we get them to 4, I mean, getting them to 4 is pretty good. Let's do this right, though. Tap this mana. Tap this mana. Because that frees up our next turn. Seven, they can't counter it. We get another little token off this thing, so we're lethal even if they kill young Pyromancer. We can hostage take whatever they do. So they would need... They can't even do it because they have not enough blue this next turn. Even if they drew the blue, it just wouldn't have mattered. So they're at 7. Almost anything they do wouldn't work. And even if they did Path to Exile one of these things earlier, I guess their best bet would have been to do it on the freebooter. But, yeah, it's tough. Then we'd have double blue for Frost Titan. So thanks for watching. 3-0 in the Vintage Cube. Good luck in your drafts.